Dominic, I wanted to head over to you. You are opening up for Major Lazer with Justin Nice next week. I wanted to know, you've opened for big name artists before. What does your prep look like? And maybe what was your favorite opening set? And then, oh wow, I almost called you Black Rabbit. Chad, I want to go over to you as well, just to ask you the same thing. Like, what was it like prepping for Lane 8 and some of the other shows that you opened to? But let's start with Dominic.
You know, as far as like as artists go, you know, it's been really interesting for me over the years, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this later. But you know, when we first started doing shows at Liquid, the process was different for me, kind of than it is now. And I don't know if it had to do with like experience or age or comfortability, or there's like a certain amount of there's like an awe factor or something, but like it changed for me. So very early on, you know, when we were bringing these guys through, like Paul Oakenfold, Paul Van Dyke, Marcus Schulz, you know, the Eric Prydz, you know, I got to open for Eric Prydz, like all like these guys who you kind of come up listening to, and they're really well established, you know, international musicians. The way that I would open for them was I would always err on the side of, and I still do, but especially then err on the side of, I have to make sure that I am as respectful as possible. And those guys really come from a time where you build the night, you build the night, you build the night, you build the night. You know, even if you're playing like, you know, if you're bringing, so you're open for Above and Beyond, you might be playing like really deep mid-tempo progressive records at Doors Open, you know, like something that's shot. But that mentality was a little bit different then, you know. And the reason I say this is because as the years went on and as the acts changed that I opened for, so you start out, and I brought them up for a reason, like Paul Oakenfold, but Paul Van Dyke, like all those guys, they come from like a different time, you know. But then, you know, when you get to Forward, I was opening for guys like, you know, Loud Luxury or Breathe Carolina or Cash or you know, Sam Feld and Two Friends and like all these guys. And they're, you know, closer in age, where they were listening to them like we were, right? They just had like they had a few hit records and got big. But what changed that I noticed was I would be with them pre-show and I'd be like, hey guys, like, you know, what do you want me to avoid? You know, what is there anything that you know you need me to be aware of? And they'd be like, you know, just, hey, make sure it's rocking when I get on. You know, so it was like a distinct difference in mentality with some of the guys now as opposed to the guys like 10, 15 years ago. I'm not saying to younger DJs watching this to kill it by any means, but what I mean is like think really hard about who it is you're opening for. And the overarching lesson for me was like, if you can talk to them ahead of time, be prepared for a variety of situations. I think some of the guys that I opened for would have been pissed if they got on and the crowd was kind of sleepy, you know, especially at a nightclub. But you know, the flip side of that was, you know, when you're opening for like Prydz, like you better come proper, or
Right.
his TM will pull you like mid set. They'll just pull you, you know. So you really have to be prepared for a variety of things. Have crates for everything, like, you know, Doors Open, mid-tempo, build records, you know, hotter records, bring it back down records. Like you have to be really, really well prepared. That hasn't changed over the years. Like the level of preparation hasn't changed. It's just sometimes the nights have a little bit, you know.
Love it, man. And then Discognition, when you were opening, what were some things that like you focused on?
Like I said, I was getting booked for a lot of different types of nights, from Lane 8 to Party Favor. You know, you have those types of nights where you think, well, you know, what kind of crowd is going to be there? Who can I expect that's going to walk through that door? And so for me, you know, I would always kind of go through, you know, my favorite tracks, you know, just say, hey, what tracks do I always play, you know, in a given genre. And I would say, all right, you know, this is on, you know, the same label, so I'm not going to play that, or, you know, but I like to kind of take my time and really build out my set, you know, track by track. That's kind of something that I like to do. I feel like if you're better prepared, You can't screw it up. I used to play open format back in Athens, and I would always wing that. 4 hours of music you can wing, especially open format. Throwing some T-Pain and some 50 Cent or whatever the hell. But when you're opening for these bigger guys, and they do have agents that ask for specific types of music, you have to plan it. And I know some people, rag on DJs that plan their sets. But when you are playing for these bigger guys, you have to. You just have to. So like I said, I plan track by track. My set is an hour long. I would put, 12, 13, 14 tracks in my crate, play it through, see how close it was to an hour, set my cue points, and that way there's no mistakes. I get up there and I build a good set and hope that it goes well over the night. I think that's, I think people should plan more often. You plan any project that you do, and a DJ set is technically a project. And as a project manager, that's kind of how my mind goes, is you have to plan, man, because if you leave things up to chance, you can mess it up, and I don't like to do that.
You know where people get confused? They confuse planning and pre-recording, and they're two fundamentally different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like both those answers, just because I've done both for opening sets, and I think different shows require different levels of preparation. So open format, like you were saying, Dominic, might require more like of a crate focused preparation, whereas Discognition, if you're opening for Eric Prydz, I agree. Having the my hour, every minute of my hour is planned out. It makes a little bit more sense. So I guess, if you're listening to this, DJs, and you're like, oh, which one is it? Try both. If the artist plays more open format, maybe you should be more crate focused. If it's something where you feel like they're planning out what they're going to do, or they're going to have a certain vibe that they really want you to stay to, or you feel less comfortable, maybe that's where you plan your sets. Corrupt, you have as much, if not probably more, experience of doing opening sets. I know you want to say something about this.
I think you guys both made great points. I only caught the end of Discognition because I got disconnected. But
Ooh, got him.
No, so I was just gonna say, like Dominic said, if you can, obviously you want to meet the artists anyway, and they're gonna love it if you ask them if there's anything you want to avoid, or anywhere you want to leave them off, or anything like that. But also, a lot of these guys have writers that you can get well in advance that will tell you in the notes, like, don't play this BPM, or don't play this label, or all that stuff. So but it is all depending on the show, because every artist is different. Like he said, like a lot of those older guys, they come from a slow building of the night. They want to create a story from a very chill pace sometimes, and so you just got to kind of prepare in that sense.
Where can people find you both online and in person? Start with Discognition.
Online, you can find me on the Anjuna Family LA Twitch channel. I'm getting back on my own Twitch for a monthly show called Friend Zone, where I'm only playing music from my producer friends. No big names, none of that, just the local guys, Columbus and LA. Facebook, Instagram. I don't use Twitter. Twitter's a wasteland of stuff that makes me depressed. So I don't use Twitter, but and I'm trying to build my YouTube channel back up. So by doing a video blog and things like that. And Mike, I have questions to ask you about video blogging, because I know that you're doing all that. But and Spotify for sure. Hit your boy up, Discognition.
Awesome. Dominic?
At Dominic Parisi, no spaces, no nothing, all one word on everything. Best place is Instagram generally, Facebook too. I'm on Twitch. I have a YouTube channel, Mixcloud, SoundCloud for mixes. I am on Twitter, but that's generally if you're interested in my view on politics or general state of our union. If you don't want to to hear me rant and rave like a crazy person, then I'd avoid my Twitter account. But
Oh,
That's what
man,
Twitter's
that's what my
for, though.
Twitter's
That's
for.
Twitter's for.
yeah.
Follow you immediately.
If you're interested in music and fun, Instagram. If you want to doom scroll for a while, then Twitter's the move. But
The Twitter fuckery.
And I do want to shout out. Go to my Instagram if you are interested in seeing Major Lazer next week. I'm really excited about this show. It's the first big show that I'm back since quarantine. Big show, not like club show, like big show. It's a drive-in. Ticket link is in my bio. Use code Beach Boys for 10% off.
Wait, I'm serious. Is that in Columbus?
It is.
Yeah.
See, we don't have nothing is open in California. So where in Columbus is it? I want to go.
It's at the Westland Drive-In, the mall.
What day?
Thursday the 29th.
There's a rumor.
That's the day I'm supposed to leave. I might have to stay an extra day.